Hello and welcome to another Mr. Carter Science Special. Don't forget, if you're enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe, and a comment is always welcome. In this video we're going to be looking at competition in plants. So plants compete with each other for a number of different factors. They compete with each other for light, which they need for photosynthesis. They compete with each other for water, which they also need for photosynthesis and to make cells turgid and to help the tissues be supported. Plants also compete with each other for minerals, which they get from the soil and use like nitrates that we use to make amino acids and proteins. And plants compete with each other for space to grow. Plants compete with members of other species, which is interspecific competition, and plants also compete with members of the same species, intraspecific competition. Many plants will compete with trees that take up a lot of water and minerals and reduce light reaching to the ground. That's a big example of intraspecific competition. Competition can happen both above ground and below ground, and here you can see a tangle of roots on a forest floor where the roots from different plants are competing with each other for water and for minerals and for space. So plants do have a number of different ways to try and avoid this competition. For example, plants that produce seeds have several mechanisms to avoid competition between the parent and the offspring. The adult plant is likely to take most of the water, light and minerals needed by the seedling, so the seedling would die. To avoid this, plants disperse their seeds by using wind or animals so that seeds germinate a long way from the parent plant. Some desert plants have roots that produce chemicals to kill seedlings and again prevent the competition. So here you can see seeds being spread by the wind. We've got the sycamore seeds, the coconut seeds and the dandelion seeds all being spread by wind or water, again so that the seedling grows far away from the adult plant and there is less competition between the original adult parent and the seedling itself. Here on this side you can see we've got some examples, an orangutan and some birds here. This is a hornbill and a blue tit, and they are eating seeds, and they will actually eat the coat of the seed and digest the coat, and the seed itself will remain undamaged and come out in the feces, and again that will be spread a long distance away from the parent plant, which actually dropped the seeds, and therefore we're dispersing the seeds and reducing competition. Another way of avoiding competition in plants occurs in woodlands. Some plants that grow in woodlands have adaptations to help them avoid competition with trees. For example, bluebells will grow and flower in early spring before the trees have regrown their leaves. This avoids competition for light, and this also avoids competition for water, as dormant trees use very little water. There is a large amount of minerals in the soil in spring, as the leaves that have been shed in autumn have broken down over winter, releasing the minerals back into the soil. So again, there's less competition for those minerals by the bluebell plants that you can see here, growing and completing their life cycle in a very short period of time in spring before the trees produce all their leaves. We can also have competition underground, roots. Plants can avoid competing by having different types of roots. Some plants have roots that are very shallow and take mineral and water from near the surface of the soil. When it rains, for example, the surface of the soil will have a large amount of water, so some plants are adapted to get as much of that water as possible. Other plants have longer, deeper roots that go far, far, far down underground, looking for water and mineral that may well be there all year round. One example of this is carrot plants, which have a long, deep root known as a taproot, and that could be several meters long, and you can see several taproots here. Get an idea of just how long those taproots can be, and they will grow down many meters looking for stable sources of water and minerals. Plants also have to consider growth. Plants growing in the shade of another plant may attempt to grow taller or reach for light. They may also try and grow bigger leaves to absorb more light. For example, nettle plants that live in the shade will grow larger leaves to try and absorb as much light as possible. Other plants may have tendrils or suckers, like this creeper plant, so that it can climb up trees or walls and try and reach more of the light higher up. So we've got a few examples here. The creeper plant, as you can see, the nettles, which grow bigger leaves when they're in the shade, and this species of bamboo, which can grow 40 millimeters, 4 centimeters in just 1.5 hours. So its speedy growth will allow it to grow quickly, get higher up, and outcompete other plants and get as much light as possible. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching this little video on competition in plants. If you have, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment and tell me what you've learned.